This is what they've been hiding from you. This is what they don't want you to know.
Show me bring it back down. They think it's a game right now, but it ain't the same right now. Know my name right now, back where I came from now.
So I just learned why not to get into politics. I haven't just learned there's certain things you have to say to defend yourself if somebody steps on your toes. But other than that, try to stay out of it. I just try to focus moving society towards a better place, leading by example on things like that. You guys haven't noticed, you know, some of the politics that is being pushed out. It's just people trying to say that other people are the enemy. It's people that should be on the same team and attacking the enemy. And then the enemy team is saying that these people are the enemy. It's just two people patted against each other. None of it has actually been resolution. Hasn't been conflict resolution. Conflict resolution is just conflict, and it's just a back and forth roast battle. It's no longer actually getting shit done. You have politicians who lobby and spend millions of dollars making their viewership high enough. It's called social proof, and that's pretty much saying like, hey, my views are high, so I'm a trustworthy person. That is social proof. You got people with 1 million views as social proof that they're a good person, but then they're literally laughing at you. They're making you the joke and they're making you laugh at it. And so it just so happens that, you know, every time I try to call this out, because they've instilled this mindset in these people so hard, every time I try to call it out, they think I'm the enemy or something. Every time I call it out, they wrongly accuse me of being the enemy. And I've tried so hard to just explain, hey, dumbass. I've tried explaining many times, yo, dumbass, I'm the wrong enemy here. When I made, you know, my short the other day, you have a bunch of protesters that are standing out there, which, by the way, it's worth mentioning, they're all white. They could have been, you know, doing like I'm doing, starting a business, but they stand out. They get their message across at the cost of traffic. It's the fact that to get your message out, you have to bring someone else down. And I don't know how they didn't realize this before. I don't know how they didn't see it for what it was. But they want us to fucking hate each other. They want regular Americans who believe the same things, who just have different fucking positions and different areas in life. They're at different places in life, but they all believe the same fucking shit. And we're all being batted against each other like someone has this bad idea of the future. So I've been sitting here calling it what it is. I'm like, dude, it's not even the truth anymore. The truth isn't getting delivered in the media anymore. It's a bunch of hype up stuff to shove down someone that we consider the enemy. So whoever that might be, we just use it to shove everybody else down. Anybody who's not the enemy, we push up really high. Not even to mention the fact that I sit back and the stuff that they say it's a risk. I'm like, hey, I have like 20 solutions that I've already thought up to make it less of a risk, and I barely had to try for it. So I don't know how you're in a position to actually make these real changes and you still can't get shit done. It's because you're not putting real leaders in the positions. You're putting bosses, people who are just narcissistic, who tried something, got lucky and did something nice on the first try, but can't continue to do nice things because they don't actually have the knowledge to. You're throwing them in a position where they need to do nice every single time, but realistically they can only hit something nice every fucking once in a blue moon. And so you put them in that position where they need to be nice 80% of the time, and they get a bunch of sympathy from the people around so that they can actually fucking compensate for the lack of. And overall it drags everyone around you down. I was never that guy. I was always, when I entered somewhere, any place of business, anything that I wanted to do, one, I carried my weight and I led by example. Two, if I was gonna ask someone else to do something for me, I made sure that one, I either did it for them, or two, I was doing more for them in some other aspect. So I handled other affairs while they were handling the thing that I needed help with. It was never like, hey man, can you give me a hand while I sit back and jerk my wiener? It was never like, hey man, can you give me a hand while I open this bag of chips and get to fucking snacking? It was never, hey man, can you give me a hand with this while I take a nap? It was always, yo, hey man, can you give me a hand with this while I handle our other affairs so that we can get this stuff in order and it brings everybody else ahead? And they're like, yeah man, I'm totally glad to help you out with it. The replacement theory actually works. It creates real leaders. When you wait until someone just stands up and wants to slap you with the truth, That's not creating real leaders. You need someone who's willing to face the truth, not just speak it. Speaking it's fucking easy. How many people are hypocritical? Find people who can actually use replacement theory in the real world, and they can actually just do it without, and fuck a title, but they just happen to be more of a manager and more of a leading position. In whatever workplace, they just happen to just evolve towards it by just naturally getting better at stuff and natural progression. Crappy leaders have to ruin good things. Those are the real enemies. Those are the real people that I'm like, yo, fuck them, bro. People who saw that you did that, saw that you naturally progressed, and they're like, hey, this guy's kind of scaring me. He might have my position. And instead of you moving further up while I get your position, I replace you. You're scared. You're scared that I'm going to take your job and you're going to be jobless. I was never here to do that, man. I was here to push everybody up while I got further up. Does that make sense? In other words, if you're a supervisor and above you's the manager, you're a trainer and above you's the manager, and I'm just a bottom shelf employee, I don't want to fucking trade positions, employee for trainer. I'm like, hey, you're a trainer. You should be a manager. The manager should be a district manager. Everybody should move up a spot, and then including me, I should move up then to trainer. I don't want to shove anybody down. And that's true enlightenment. That's how you have real enlightenment and natural progression in a workplace. And then eventually the person at the highest up position retires. And then that makes more room. But right now, like I said, they see that you've naturally progressed, and rather than promoting you, rather than giving you your promotion for merit, they just fire you. They find something, and it can be anything, dude. It could be something you said last week, and they just fire you. They don't fire you based on results. And so, in many aspects, I feel like Pennsylvania is really behind on the law. In many aspects, I feel like Pennsylvania is really behind on the working laws of protecting workers against stuff like that. It wouldn't necessarily take from the CEOs or anything like that. All this would do is add to the workers, potentially add to the CEOs, because it would allow actual people who are better at the job to prosper and go further. I mean, right now what you have is just participation trophies. Continuing to hit your hammer at a broken nail until you finally straighten it out. And rather than just going for a straight nail from the jump. Some might say, Ben, you take big risks. Of course there's going to be big downfalls to your big ups. I'm like, really? I'm like, going in and standing on your beliefs is the bare minimum. If me standing on my beliefs is taking a big risk, what's a small risk? I'm tired of fellow American citizens, like people who are here in America. I'm tired of us hating each other for stupid stuff. I'm tired of us not coming together under stuff that we do agree on. I want to give the people power, and then the people want to take the power away from me that I gave to them, because they're programmed by the government to believe I'm the enemy, rather than see it for what it is, which is that I helped you out, we're on the same team. I don't see teams. I'm like, hey, we're all humans. Even the people who are like fucking this up and pitting us against each other, I don't wish harm on that. With that all being said, I mean, pretty much all I want to talk about, man. This is what they've been hiding from you. This is what they don't want you to know. These people by your side, these citizens, you think, oh man, they're not trustworthy. I can't fucking trust them. They're just a bunch of fucking criminals. They're a bunch of hood rats. They're just a bunch of bums. You're being programmed by the government to believe that. I mean, have you actually talked to them? Have you actually worked with them, alongside them, towards the same goal? Go invite them. Say, hey, let's go work towards a common goal together. Check out how they work towards a common goal. I bet there you will find something interesting.